Spencer Pratt. I'm such a fan.
Oh, unlike Chapel Roan, I love my fans, and you can ask for a photo anytime, even potentially a hug if you're not sneezing or coughing, but that's
Well,
fan.
she sort of says she has stalkers, right? I mean, isn't that kind of did you ever have a stalker? You must have had stalkers. And
Not
Heidi.
not enough. Let me just tell you, not enough. And you know what? In this day and age, I will never feel bad for a millionaire complaining about people stalking them. I just, buy a gun, buy a gun and just cash your checks. That's so, but
Well, I
it was a
mean,
hot take. Well, the good thing is it took everyone off of me defending Blake Lively, and it was a good pivot to have a new, I got the Ronies or whatever they're called coming after me.
well, and the Blake Lively. I liked the Blake Lively rant. I enjoy all your hot takes on TikTok, by the way. Everybody knows you as the reality star that you are, but I feel like you're almost having a second and third career with crystals and TikTok.
Yeah, China kind of hurt the crystal business, so we are having to pivot more just to like talking about other people as like a job. So,
Wait, what? Okay, I've heard you mention that, but I didn't understand it. So what's going on with Pratt Daddy Crystal and what does it have to do with China?
well, now on I
Hey, Fraser, like it. Hey, Fraser, like it. Broadcast bar. Hey, Fraser, like it. Hey, Fraser, like it. Broadcast bar. Hey, Fraser, like it. Hey, Fraser, like it. Broadcast bar. Hey, Fraser, like it. Hey, Fraser, like it. Broadcast bar. Hey, Fraser, like it. Broadcast bar. Hey, Fraser, like it. Broadcast bar. Hey, Fraser, like it. Broadcast
date with TikTok Shop and all these rules and everything.
Yeah.
But in China, they just go around that and they got it figured out. Good for them.
Okay, I was thinking that because I was like, God, I was seeing you go live all the time with crystals, like with your employee, and it seemed like TikTok loved you, that they were bringing you in. I don't know. Here in LA, it seems like they have this like almost QVC showroom that they were like training you guys. So all that's, oh my God, isn't it so rough being an entrepreneur?
If
That's
you, I mean, I don't even want to talk about how much money I lost just pivoting my business to because you have these meetings with these head executives, and I keep telling them like, hey, you're having me follow all these rules and these be all compliant and do all this back end and all day long on my entire For Your page is people not doing the proper TikTok shop, but then undercutting all the price. Just they're actually in these factories in China where like I don't have a factory, and so I'm just a retailer, but I can't compete with a Chinese wholesaler. So
yeah. Yeah.
so
Okay.
I've just pivoted to like niche high-end designer that they can't copy and they can't do cheaper and like world famous carvers. So way smaller margins, no more employees, just me. It's like back to 7 years ago. So it's been an emotional roller coaster, but that's why I'm taking fame more serious because I thought I was just gonna
Yeah.
become a businessman over these past years. But now I'm like, okay, no, I gotta figure out this famous thing.
Dude,
Yeah.
being an entrepreneur is so hard. It's like it's so rough. Like my background is morning radio and then radio was dying. They did a radio flip, format flip in 2015 and they wanted me to stay or they gave me a severance package and everybody I would talk to was like I'm doing a podcast. I'm doing a podcast. I listened to this show. So I started my podcast. The first 4 years were like brutal. I mean, the only way I survived is my husband and then now, of course, radio is completely dead. So it's all podcasts. People are never going back to that. So, all that ad money has come over to podcasting and it's doing well, but it was such a struggle. So I can imagine I bet the past couple of months have been rough.
A couple years. No,
I
know,
love your I love your
years.
well, there's okay, but I mean, what are you gonna do next? Because I follow everything you do. You're a genius. You are one of the originators of reality TV. To me, I feel like you're gonna have this Jax Taylor moment where Jax for
Oh my
years.
God, let's figure out some respect. I would like to have a different moment than a Jax Taylor moment. No, thank you, Lord, if you're listening.
Well, not the rehab, not the
I
rehab.
mean, there's so many other. I'll take an Ariana if we're gonna go with a Vanderpump. I'll have an Ariana moment. Like put me on Broadway. I don't need to go to the Valley to have my moment. No, thank you, but I appreciate that.
So wait, so what does that mean? You're done with you don't wanna pitch reality shows? You're done
Oh
with
no, no,
reality.
I'm not. I'm all in. I'm pitching. I'm on a reality show that comes out on Hulu. Uh, I think in January, which could be a big hit show or maybe not. I have a show that I'm pretty sure is selling that I'm executive producing that I created. That's great. And then I have a movie that I'm starring in and produced with James Franco. So
What? Okay.
we're we're pretty busy, just crystals are slow.
Um, okay, I'm thinking to myself, for a minute there, I had all this empathy for you. I was like, God, the guy's going
Oh
through a hard
no.
time.
Oh
Okay,
no,
it
no,
sounds
no,
better.
no hard times. Well, crystals, I love crystals, so it's sad,
Oh, meanwhile, I'm a multimillionaire producer. Who cares about this other shit? Okay, let's step back. What is the Hulu show in January? What is that
I
about? What's
don't
the name of it?
it's a competition show. I'm not legally allowed to say what it is, but if you were to like Google like Hulu big new competition show, I'm on that show. So
Okay.
if somebody really cares, they could do that type of investigating. But it was a really exciting. So it was that was
And
a
how did the Franco movie come about? What is that about?
so it's probably now a year ago. I started getting these DMs from this lovely person, and they were saying that their boyfriend was a huge fan, and he has a clothing line, and he wanted to send me some clothes, and I love free stuff, so I said, "Oh, great." And they had a verified check, which used to mean something. Now it just means maybe you bought it. A little more
Everybody's verified, yeah.
very suspicious now. So I say, yeah, sure. And I didn't think much about it. And I got a few more messages like, my boyfriend really would love to meet up and like come up with a plan to like get you back to the top of your fame again. I'm like, oh, that's nice of him. Thank you. And I kind of like, I didn't think much about it. And then a box came and Heidi thought it was from like a serial killer or a stalker because it was all sharpied and really spooky looking type. If scary person was going to send you a box, this is what it would look like, right? She's like, don't open that in the house. I'm like, no, it's fine. I was like, it's probably one of my fan mail, from my stalkers, Chappelle. And I open it up and it's all these shirts, hand drawn, like very unique. And Heidi's like, what is this? And then there's a card, and on the card, it's all hand drawn, looks like graffiti. And he's like, this is so spooky. And then she's like, what is this letterhead? I'm like, huh? She says, it says James Franco. So then I go back to all the DMs, and this person, the girlfriend, was always writing, my boyfriend James, never said James Franco. And she's referring to him as a fashion designer because this is his clothing line. So the whole time blowing off James Franco to like meet up and help figure out how I'm going to be famous again. And so then I'm like, oh my God, is this James Franco? Like, hey, got the clothes. Like, what's up? Like, oh my gosh, James is so happy. Can you come over? He's having a little get together with some family and friends tonight at Humphrey Bogart's old house next door to Chateau Marmont. I'm like, Heidi, I think we got to go. She's like, I can't go. I don't have a nanny. I'm like, I'm not going by myself. She's like, you got to go by yourself. I'm like, what if it's not James Franco? She's like, just go. So I go, I walk in, and it's all these A-list, for real A-list actors. I don't know all their names because they're like the real deal A-list, like the artsy movies. And you would know
Yeah.
them. Like one of them that I do know who she was because I asked for a TikTok with her and she said no. Was
Kate Blanchett.
from the Ozark, that the one who screams, and I want to do the viral TikTok like when she's like, "How do I get out?" Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, you do that, and then I'll go, "Ah," and she's like, I'm not on TikTok. And I'm like, you should be. Like, and she's like, no, I don't think so. We got a little back and forth about it. So
I
then
know what you
Jay,
mean, though. You go to those parties sometimes. Like I just even saw Allison Brie at Century City, but I had to sit there and Google her. You know, she's like from Mad Men. You know her, but you know what I'm talking. I know what you're saying. You're like, shit, I know her, but I don't really know. And then you, cause you look at her IMDb, it's crazy.
is she married to James Franco's brother? I
Is
think
she?
that's Dave Franco's
I could
wife.
have gotten scoop on you and this script, probably.
So James ends up like hugging me, giving. So I think I'm at a hidden camera show now at this point. I think it's like a new punked or whatever, because he's like pumping me up so much. And he has so many like facts about my life, all the way from high school, like just like a FBI investigator. And I'm like, okay, bro, if this is a hidden camera show, I'll sign off. Like, this is a great little bit. I'm all in. And it wasn't. And so then he came over to the house a couple times and we talked about this couple ideas. So we actually have like 3 movies in development. One, we got the budget. So we got $5 million budget to make this comedy. So that one's like a go. So we're probably filming in March, I think.
Wow. And it's already been cast.
We are casting.
And are you going to be in it?
I am in it, yes.
And are you playing yourself? Are you playing somebody like yourself? Ah.
I'm playing myself. I'm knocking out the park.
Spencer, you've been in the entertainment business. I mean, like 2 decades. What for you? I mean, do you still enjoy it?
More now than ever.
Really?
Oh yeah. Now, I mean, I didn't have apps for a long time. It was you had to depend on so many people to like do anything, even though none of this makes any money. You know, that's the funniest part about like
Thank
content
you.
now. You do all this and you get no money, which is insane. I keep telling myself one day, there's no way just getting so deep in this content matrix that because eventually these TV networks, they're not gonna something's happening right now. Everything seems like it's imploding, but people still want to watch stuff. So if you can just keep, just making content, I'm telling this obviously my hyping myself up. Who knows if it's true? But something has to positive come out of it. Otherwise, it's so scary. But yeah, no, it's more fun because you can do stuff on your own. But obviously, I'd rather be on a TV show back in the day where you paid lots of money. But now they don't even pay lots of money to be on TV shows. People want to do this stuff for free, which just ruined everything.
I have a lot of TLC people on my show and they're on episode, season after season. I mean, they make maybe 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 an episode. And I mean, God, when you guys were on the hills, I can't even imagine that was probably your catering budget.
I wouldn't want to even think about it.
What
Like it's crazy.
So, okay, like you guys have always had this great social media presence over the past couple of years. You have this beautiful family now, and it seems like you are on the cusp of like having this career resurgence. What for you has been sustaining you guys for the past couple of years? Has it been the crystal business? Like, has it been social? Like, were you making good money on Instagram and TikTok? And then, of course, the algorithm changes every 5 minutes.
Uh, I had a great quote on it with this shout out Alon Gale, the producer who does F Boy Island. We were talking and he was like, in this gig economy. I was like, oh, that's the best way to describe my life. A gig economy. Like it's just you never know what the next gig is, what ad. But for a minute there, the crystals were making $250,000 a month. So that was a crazy, like for a good few years, I was rich and spending all my money. Problem was I was reinvesting it into the business. One time I feel like we almost had 20 employees. We had a full-time media team, so you're making all this money, but if you don't know how to properly scale, but there was enough money where I was still able to go to Erewhon and live a great life, but it wasn't like I should have probably not grown the business. Who knows? I didn't go to business school, but in a perfect world, I would have all that money saved up, but I put it into a business that got murdered during the pandemic. So pre Hills reboot, every year we did like one real, like we got $1 million just to do Celebrity Big Brother. So like that lasts a year or so, like for a while, we only really ate Mexican food. We didn't have kids. So, a show a year was sustainable to our existence, which wasn't, we didn't buy designer clothes for a long time. We're back to not buying designer clothes again. So
This is so great. This is what I enjoy about you is you're so like real about the whole Hollywood scene, right? Which I've only moved here 2.5 years ago. And it's so interesting to see how people, I'm like, there's no way most people can keep up this money charade. I
Oh,
appreciate your honesty.
yeah. Oh, well, no. And then The Hills reboot was 2 seasons. So that was a nice check. And that brought a lot of, opportunities and ads and commercials through like actual TV commercials, thanks to Viacom and the integration type stuff. But Crystals, thank God Heidi's music lately is paying all the bills, which is mind-boggling. So Heidi's music blew up in China. Like it's huge in America as well. Like for a minute there, she had 1,200,000 monthly listeners for like almost a year. We're down to 1 million because it is an algorithm, just like IG or anything. So you have to feed Spotify new music once you get to that. So we just recorded 19 new records with all the hottest producers, writers, so to keep the algorithm going. But that was a very amazing thing because we invested like $3 million in Heidi's music in 2009, never saw a dollar from it. We're pretty depressed about it and regretted it for a good 10 years. And then a year ago, it just blew up and has 3 billion streams on TikTok, just on I'll Do It. China was like 1 billion streams a day on Douyin. So music.
Wait, for people that don't understand this, so it works just like TikTok, right? Every stream you get paid something. So you
Yeah.
guys are always
Yeah,
making money.
yeah, we own the masters since we paid for everything back in the day. Like what Taylor just went to like fight for, we bought our masters out back in the day. So now that there's money coming through those streams, like we own that product. But like people are like, oh, why is she doing music now? It's like, oh, because to keep that money coming in, it's now like a TikTok or IG Reels or YouTube Shorts, where Spotify wants the algorithm, like, so they suggest, all the like experts we talk to, they suggest every 4 to 6 weeks you need a new song. So
Oh
that's
my
just
God,
so that's taken over our lives because it's a lot of
ton of
work,
work.
because you don't want to put out bad songs because then people are like, oh, I'm over. So you need better, each song needs to be better than it's a lot of, so that is, speaking of income, that's a miracle.
That's like a ton. Did you ever get any business advice from your old co-stars? Many of them are doing well. Kristen Cavallari's jewelry business appears to be doing well. Lauren Conrad.
No, never took any advice from anybody.
Did they offer or you just don't want it?
No, I usually try to take advice from like really rich business people if I was gonna like listen to advice. But no, I wasn't like, I was never like chatting up with co-stars. We were like segregated away from the rest of the cast. We weren't really allowed to interact. So I didn't have much communication to ask advice. I would have loved to. I'll take it, but people I was around wasn't them. But I listened to anybody's advice.
No, nothing from David Foster, huh? After all
I
these.
did actually. David Foster, I just said Heidi gave me the best advice, and it's so real now than ever before. But he used to tell Brody and I all the time, and I'm gonna misquote it a little bit because he's the heat, I guess he would call himself. It sounds way better when he says it. But he would say, the microphone will come in front of your face, and if you don't grab it and whatever he said, and don't let go of it, it's gonna keep going to the next person and it's not coming back. Or, obviously I miss, and he saw that as a, mega producer, obviously with artists, but it works for TikTokers or reels, influencer, podcaster. And it's just like, you don't take that. So, and he's wrong about, in the sense that you can go try to get it back. I think the peak level, when it's really in front of your face, like that would be the Hills era for us. Like, could we have capitalized more? I personally think there's nothing more we could have done. We dug into the sewer out of that opportunity. So I think certain microphones only have so much power. And his advice was coming from dealing with megastars. So like if you're Celine Dion, that megaphone, you hold on to it, you're gonna have a way more Michael Bublé. These people's microphones have more potential. So that's what I would say to him now if we still talk to be like, it's different microphones out there, buddy, with different budgets.
That was one
But
of
that,
my favorite TikTok series you did. You kind of talked about how you became famous and you had the David Foster stories. Did David ever reach out after that?
no, I don't. I, no, Brody doesn't really talk to David that much either. And I was just telling Brody, like, we need to go hang out with him. And but he's so he's got a younger wife, he's got a new kid, he's got three ex-wives, I think. He's got at least four daughters. So I never felt, I wish I had stayed in touch. I think if I had when I got peak famous, it stayed going to like lunches with him. That's one thing that LC did do that if not advice, but what I witnessed that I didn't do that professional hustlers in fame are so good at doing is they have like weekly like coffees and they go meet for drinks and they go to dinners. Like I didn't do any of that because it's like,
Ah,
that I don't want to say fakeness, but just these like things that you think are pointless, like the real players do all those coffees, they get drinks, they meet up, they have the talk. Like I just didn't do that. And if I could go back in time when I had that peak fame, I would have been calling David Foster and been like, let's get lunch, Fuzz man. Like, even just to like show him, like, look how famous I am, told you so. Like, he never even really got to see how famous I was in person, at which he would have been shook.
that's such great advice. I never do that either. And I know those people. They're such good networkers. And you're right. They're always in the rooms. If you can go to the drinks, go to the coffee, push yourself to go to the dinners, I know, I swear, they always know what's going on.
I just heard, so I was talking to my one friend, he was just in Saint Tropez or wherever in Europe, and I was like, how did you know where to eat? Because I'm watching his story and he looks like a vlogger there. I'm like, well, how do you know like to go spend? He's like, oh, Coop. And I'm like, Coop, like this other guy I know. I'm like, he's like, yeah, he's the most connected person in the world. I'm like, how is Cooper the most connected person in the world? He's like, have you ever looked at his phone? I'm like, no. So next time you're with Cooper, ask to see his phone. He at all times has 100 chats going on and he's like engaged with each, like keeping up to date, like, oh, your kid back at school, or well, like there's people like in the matrix of, and yet my other friend name dropped him in the hotels and these places are like, oh, you're Cooper's friend. And it's like they like, so I just never, I don't want to say that's fake, because I'm sure he's really invested, but I don't know if I have just that bandwidth. I guess I'm like too self-centered. I don't know, but I wish these are the things I'm gonna teach my kids.
Spencer, how do you think you all have, and I'm talking about Cast of the Hills, how do you think you guys have all seemed to maintain a level of, just sanity? Like you all seem to, and including Brody, right? I mean, I don't know. I was going to ask you like how he's doing because we don't hear much anymore now that the Kardashians are on Hulu. Obviously, Caitlyn's out of the picture, but everybody seems to have done well. Like they've ridden the highs of fame. They're different levels you guys have, but why do you think your cast has sort of kept it together versus, Jersey Shore, right? The situation that was in jail. I mean, they've had huge addiction issues. Like, do you guys just hide it better or like, are you are you better adjusted?
I think Jersey Shore just got more money and fame. I think, there would be multiple people maybe in jail or in rehab on our cast if the show had kept going like Jersey Shore, had gotten as bigger ratings, the money kept coming like Jersey Shore. I think that's another tier of fame. They're just way more famous. So I think way more, also, LC grew up in Laguna Beach with rich people. Whitney grew up in Brentwood with rich people. Brody grew up in Malibu with rich people. Audrina grew up in the OC. I don't know how I want to say with rich people, but I feel like everyone's lives are pretty good. They didn't take like a bunch of poppers off the.
Yeah, none. It doesn't seem like. I mean, were you ever tempted? You or Heidi? You or Heidi never have seemed to be like into drugs. Like, how did you manage to stay somewhat sober?
I definitely had an eating addiction for a minute there. Like I couldn't, so I guess I ate my feelings.
Hmm.
But I think if I worked out, it wouldn't have been such like an issue. But I was eating lots of pies, chocolate fudge pie, chocolate brownie pie, and then I pivoted to chicken pot pies during the pandemic. So I do think of like, emotionally, and like I don't know if that was a reflection of like that was like a coping thing, or if I just love eating. I don't know, because there's people that love eating, they work out, and then it's not an issue. So I think if I had worked out, maybe, but um I don't know. I feel like I was always on edge enough. I don't think I was like it would be a little risky to like, oh, let's be on the edge and be a crazy person and add cocaine to that. Thankfully I'm allergic to a lot of things. So I was always scared growing up to like, oh, if I try that, I'm gonna die. Because I was in the hospital for like a week for Alka-Seltzer. So I was like, oh, I can't really play around with all these people like making things, and so that's helped me a lot. I think I always think that's a good guardrail of not turning into party boy.
How is your friend Brody, by the way, who, to your point, kind of grew up famous? So is he enjoying maybe less time
Uh,
in the spotlight?
we actually, it's his birthday is tomorrow night. We're going to Soho, Malibu, and we're actually talking about doing our own dad podcast where we just complain about not being rich and famous and being dads. So that's breaking news.
Okay. Well, wait, what happened, by the way, to Spidey's 16th minute? I was like
Uh,
loving your podcast. Is it coming back?
that's coming back in September. I mean, like I said, it was just trying to do this album, which was making more money than anything, and we just took over our lives and driving all the way to downtown LA, doing hair. You lose a whole day, and it was just like, oh, let's just pause because the energy was like kind of shifting, and then a new host was added, and it was creatively, it was just like, wait, this isn't it. So we're gonna record it in the Palisades at Pratt Daddy HQ, and like do our own more like organic style versus like but thankfully Spotify's still gonna do our ads or whatever, their ad thingamajigger. So that's good news.
But yeah, you were on with the Ringer. I mean, they're like a
Yeah,
big deal.
so now we're parting ways with the Ringer, but I love them.
Yeah, wish
Yeah.
them all the best. But if they, I
Yeah.
mean, that's a lot. I mean, a podcast now you can do from your house and have just as high of ratings. So I'm actually shocked they wanted you to come all the way downtown and do hair and makeup. I don't know. I mean,
Well,
some
I
of
mean,
my
it's Heidi's choice, but it was so lit and it was so professional. It's like it just felt like, it was like it's a beautiful, I mean, it has to be a multi-million-dollar studio. So again, love the Ringer and but you know.
well, when you see Caitlin, can you ask Caitlin to come on my show and not charge a $25,000 fee that she wants to come on the podcast? Caitlin
Caitlin
Jenner.
here.
Caitlin Jenner.
Oh, Caitlin does not like me. I wouldn't be the one to negotiate that for
Oh,
you.
damn. All right. Well, what happened with you and Caitlin? Why don't you two
Well,
get
I
along?
used to just, for years, her and Brody were feuding, and I was a loyal best friend. And if I was asked about Caitlin, I would say, yeah, she's a terrible father, which she was. And, so it's a couple moments where we had interactions where, I mean, obviously she beat me up. She is very strong. Recently at the baby shower, we did see each other, and she shook my hand, and I was like, please let me have it back.
Well, damn. All right. Well, I'll get to find
20
somebody else.
25,000 for a podcast.
Yes, and I'm gonna forget her. It's not her girlfriend, but it's her like friend or companion that lives with her. Who's the woman? You'll know her. Anyway, she like they've been best pals, I guess, for a while. She's sort of the broker. And yeah, they wanted $25,000 to appear on the podcast. And I'm like, ladies, that seems awfully steep here. You know,
I want to turn into this that did you see that drama with Marlon Wayans got into with that DJ
DJ,
Law, whatever it
was it DJ
was?
Vlad or something calling him
Yeah,
out, wanting a $40,000?
50,000.
Hey, look,
40 or 50.
if you can get it, get it. And I like, look, people come on my show paid sometimes, unpaid. I mean, whatever you want, right? If people are willing to pay it, pay it.
Yeah, and then like, and if you like I agree with what Marlon said. If you're not down with that, like that's it. You don't have to then go tweet about it after like. It's like, oh, nope, no, thank you, I don't have that money. Like when you turn it into this thing, that's when it becomes like, I didn't like.
You think? I also think if you're gonna put a 40 grand fee out there, you don't think like people are gonna talk about that? Like, come on. Like you must have an appearance fee.
I don't. I appear everywhere for free.
Erewhon's not paying you to appear?
Nope. Mm-mm.
Should be. Hey, do you watch any reality shows now? And are there any reality shows you think are actually doing it right? That do you ever tune in and you're like, okay, that's like good. It's compelling TV.
The last reality show that I watched, it was unbelievable, and the only show I've watched was oh my under undercover lover. I made that name up. It was on Peacock with all the soccer players from England and like Mexico, and they come out to LA, and like the girls are dating them, and they're making up their hold on one second. This
Yeah.
guy, I'm doing a podcast. How long are you there for? All right. What is it called? Let me look. I'll look real
Yeah,
quick.
yeah. Undercover. It must
I'll
be.
look because I follow. I was on a reality. I was on Big Brother one of the seasons with this one of the soccer players, so that's why I like followed it. And Heidi and I were laughing so hard. What was the show called?
Watch. Is it Love Undercover? Is a modern day fairy tale meets. No.
Oh, love. It's called
Oh, I think that's it. That is it.
Love Undercover.
Yeah, Love Undercover. Pro athletes have it all. Extreme wealth, adoring fans, fame and fortune can come at a price of true love. 5 international soccer stars are going undercover in the US to find love for who they really are and not what they have. Okay, so
Best
you liked it.
best show ever. I mean, because it just shows you like it was such a real like, social experiment of these guys that are so used to their game is based off of their clout and and then when you take that away and they have to have like I'm a contractor and just to see, obviously they casted a certain type of woman, so it's not maybe across the board, it's good casting, but these women that they would usually not have a problem just, getting so easy based off of, the clout and the money and fame, when these women think they have just like construction worker jobs, and how much harder it is to like get from your own personality, getting this interest of these women that would be more into somebody that actually they are. So it was incredible.
Okay, well, that's a glowing endorsement from someone who's one of the
Yeah,
greatest
yeah,
reality
yeah. So
people.
that's other than that, nope, no shows in the last couple of years. I thought, I used to watch every reality show, and it's just something, I don't know what's happening where I'm just like, they're just kind of
I
like,
know, I'm there too. What do you think it is from your producer's eye?
I don't know, we could have oversaturated, seen the same, it's the same. That's why I like this show. It was like something new, like obviously if you're into something like Love Island, like you're into a franchise, like you can keep watching that. But I thought I was into, we watched a little Bachelor in Paradise. That was pretty good. I forget who was on it, but that was watchable. Um, what else? No.
Are you watching any Housewives anymore, or are you guys done with?
Heidi watches all these shows. I'm usually just scrolling TikTok. It's my ADHD is made for just, as they call it, doom scrolling. I do not. I feel like it's just joy scrolling. The reality show I'm actually following the most right now is the Young Thug YSL trial. I am like watching that almost live daily, catching up on every clip. So that is like, I guess that's like watching the modern day Judge Judy, but we had Judge Glanville, and now we have a new judge. I forgot her name, but
Which why is YSL on trial?
it's a RICO case. So Georgia, the district attorney, whoever the powers that be, they are trying to say that Young Thug is a leader of a criminal organization, like he's John Gotti or something.
Okay. And how long is the trial just started
Been
or
like
how,
a year. No, it's been like a year. It's the longest. It's insane.
a year-long trial? This is crazy. When are we going to get a sentence, like, or a verdict?
But we're gonna get a mistrial, is what I'm feeling. That's what I'm.
Really?
So it is this guy.
Wow.
This guy Woody right now who's testifying, but he's saying I don't recall. He is the most entertaining person in front of a camera right now in America. I'm sorry to Jules and the demure, keep it classy lady, but Woody is the best.
He's got nothing on Woody. Okay, damn.
I can't
So
believe you haven't seen this on TikTok.
what do you think, what do you think the future of reality TV is? Because I've listened to you over the years. Like I feel like a lot of your predictions have been true. You know, you were saying years ago, right? When you guys were pitching all your reality shows, like the family, it had to be a family intact. You couldn't be divorced. Then it became, if you got divorced, you went to rehab, the show had even more ratings. I mean, do you think we're going more towards OnlyFans stars and celebrity trials and just TikToks? Or do you think there is a new iteration of reality TV that could capture people?
I think there would be if they had if they hadn't destroyed the ad model. Like if we were still at TV cable channels, I think all these shows, authentic journeys of people, but I don't think the current business model can fund these projects to like if it's not a hit, people get fired, so nobody's buying anything because so these five, obviously 10 people got rich switching everything to streaming, and now they're all retired on mega yachts. So they ended a business. Sorry, my son just got home. They ended a business that had been around for like 100 years, whatever, just like that. And they didn't. Everything okay?
Yeah, Sean was here saying hi before he leaves. Are you doing a
Oh,
podcast?
yeah, I said I'll be available like 30. But
Heidi, come and say hi. We love Heidi. We're huge fans. Heidi, you're amazing. Love you.
Thank you. Coming from pickup, it's
You're
hi,
doing-
Eric.
You're a great mom. You're doing such a good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Congrats on all your success.
Thank you.
you shut the door.
Yes, I will. Yeah, he's right. Sean's leaving.
All right, I'll catch you.
Okay.
Catch you in a minute, legend. Buy that house, please. Buy it. Buy it.
See
We'll
what
be
happens.
neighbors.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call your dad. My best friend growing up, and just looking at the house across the street that from us. I'm like, please buy it.
Hey, okay, so you think it's the model of
I
reality?
think people would. I think a lot more shows could exist, but now the financials aren't there. I think I think they
You think
can't.
do you think it'll go the way of like podcasting where it's almost like you produce your own podcast and they'll just have like some sort of advertising model? I mean, I guess that's sort of what TikTok is, but it's just they change the algorithm and it's so PG and and now it's all basically ads. It's like scrolling QVC, really.
I really wish TikTok 2 years ago. I should have. I mean, I did appreciate it, but I was like, here's the craziest thing. Like I was on TikTok when it was switched from Musical.ly to TikTok, and I should have just been, it's you miss these boats, if they miss it, you miss it. So that's why I'm even though it's an old boat, but they're rebooting it. I'm on Be Real now because I'm like verified on Be Real. I'm like, this could be my new boat. I don't know. It's
We've
so
all got to go to Be Real. Okay.
I think YouTube. I had a
You do?
I had a pitch with or a meeting with these big time mega what they call themselves media operators. They didn't want to sign us and work with us. They only do big, but I did listen to what they were saying. And they were saying that pretty much when we're dead and gone, YouTube will be here. It's the one thing that's not going anywhere is YouTube. All these other things, they're like, YouTube's not going anywhere. It's just the beginning of YouTube. And I was like, whoa. So I think that is, something where like I just bought a real nice camera and I was like, I'm just gonna start, even though I've done this like 7 times now in our career, like started in like 2011, I'm on YouTube. But now I'm like, we really just need to do it.
It, um, do you ever look like I don't know, were you ever a Joan Rivers fan? It's just your career kind of reminds me of how great she was. Like she would have so many highs and lows in her Hollywood career, but she just like kept going. She was such a hustler, so relentless.
Yeah, I keep saying I'm really gonna step up my hustling too. This year is gonna be the year. So, because I feel like I've gotten this far with, I don't want to say like phoning it in, but I know I could have been so much more successful if I had just done one thing that I tell myself all the time that I don't do with anything, and it's consistency. It's like we'll do 100 episodes of a podcast and we'll stop. We'll do
Yeah.
Snapchat, they tell us to Snapchat, 200 snaps every day. We start making thousands of dollars a day. It's like you burn out, you stop Snapchatting. You start posting YouTube shorts. I'm a YouTube short, and it's like I stop. It's like anything if I just stuck with it for like 3 years. Even my jujitsu journey, I've been a brown belt in jujitsu for like 7 years now. When if I had just, so consistency is like my.
Oh, is that, and it's hard when I bet you do have that ADD. I have the same thing. I have to get offline because I bet you are a person that has so many ideas going through your head all the time, all of which could make you a millionaire. But it's like you have to pick two.
Yeah, and then when you do pick two and they go wrong, it's very like, oh my God.
Um, I have a couple more questions for you. How have you and Heidi kept your relationship so great? You guys are fun to watch online. You seem like you have a genuine connection and enjoy each other. What do you do? I mean, do you go to couples therapy? Did you just get lucky? Are you guys have the same zodiac signs? Is it the crystals? Like what's going on?
I mean, I would say I got lucky because I married somebody who's like sweet and positive. Like, I don't think I would have this successful relationship if it wasn't Heidi. I wouldn't be in a relationship. So I think it's like if it's too much work, maybe it's not supposed to be like it's very, I guess, communication, humor, just kind of no brainer things keep it going. But at the end of the day, I think it's because like Heidi's really freaking sweet and positive, and even when things are really bad, it's like she's like Miss Pollyanna or whatever that like, oh no, it's like lightning just hit you, but at least you're electric, like, so that makes it a lot easier because if she was like me, we wouldn't be together. We'd be complaining all day about stuff.
Have you pitched a true crime show at all yet? I enjoy your
That is so funny. We just had a pitch literally a week ago with Wheelhouse Productions, and they were like all about doing a true crime show with Heidi and I. They're like, I was like, I'll do any show. like, like sell it. I'm there, But yeah, that was
Well,
one of my.
mostly I was thinking because watching all your stuff, right? I mean, you talk about your entertainment attorney, who apparently took his own life, but that story was a little bit around mystery. Heidi's
Not really, not really. He was in charge of the Michael Jackson Masters.
no, but wait, why do you think
Not
who wanted the masters? Like, what does that mean?
who not them. They didn't want Michael Jackson to have them.
Okay, so you think something to do with the record label, like
I think that could be one thing. I'm just saying there's so many things at that, I mean, the 911 call was so weird and suspicious, like of like, I don't know. Also, I knew the close like family friend bodyguard, and he's like, no way. I mean, this is not a conspiracy. Like, no way. No way.
I was just thinking about you having a true crime show, and that's the first one you investigate because
I was right about the Dr. Ryan one. That looks way more suspicious now once that Diddy Cassie stuff came out.
wait, did he have some? Oh, yes. What am I talking about? He was the surgeon that did Cassie's breast implants. Like she came to. Diddy goes, I don't like him. Take him. He's like, she can't go back under like this. He's like, you're going to fucking put her back under. He did. And then he's apparently driving down.
And they found out later, if you deep dive to Google, they checked his cell phone records. I knew Dr. Frank would never be texting and driving. The guy was so switched on type dude. And they found out he was not texting and driving. So that he was, and he's driven that was where his ranch was. He's driven that turn like So I also think maybe they didn't think they were gonna kill him. Maybe they were just trying to scare him, like a little bump, and then maybe he react. Maybe it wasn't like a murder plan, and then it just turned into a murder.
Did you ever get invited to a Diddy party, you and Heidi?
I didn't get invited to any parties.
I can't believe this. It's like you guys are so famous. It's so funny hearing.
Well,
What?
because there used to be like, such that like first off, reality TV when we were peak famous was as famous as we were, it wasn't like Kim K billionaire and like, oh my gosh, the Love Island girl, I want to get a foot. Like it was still like, eh. Now you can be famous if you're a TikToker, which I totally support. I'm not hating. I'm just saying, you would never have been a TikTok person and be invited to a party. So, being in, but us getting into tabloids was a big deal, let alone, that was the first. Like Heidi and I were the first reality stars to get in tabloids all the time. So
Yeah.
that was already a big hurdle. So, I mean, maybe if we'd kept our publicist, we would have been invited because initially we had Brad Pitt's publicist, Sydney Quigenti, and we were like plugged in, and then we parted ways with her because I beefed out with her because she told me not to go to the Teen Choice Award because I was nominated for top villain, but she's like, "You're not going to win. That's embarrassing. Don't go." I'm like, and I didn't go. And then after, I'm like, I would have been not. It was like me and like Robert Pattinson. Like, what are you talking about? Of course, I should be sitting in the audience and losing to like all these movie stars. So that was. I don't regret our falling out, but it's like, what?
Yeah. Isn't that funny? I feel like in Hollywood, you really have to listen to your own self because there's a lot of pressure here, I feel like, to fit in, don't do this, don't be seen doing this. And it's like you really have to listen to your gut. And I'm sure your gut guides you really well.
Yes and no. Yes and no. Now it does with the time machine.
Over your career, you've been exposed to a lot of famous people. Obviously, the Kardashians, you've talked about them. I mean, do you think Chris and Kim have been so successful because, like you were saying earlier, consistency or just well strategic plan to make them look famous? What do you think it
No,
is?
they're obviously which I'll say a million times, they had a conglomerate that never abandoned them until they got what would you even call Hulu? Not even like another new conglomerate. But if they didn't have Comcast, there's no Kim and Chris. So Comcast, even when their ratings sucked for multiple seasons, businesses failed. No matter what, like Comcast kept them on when cable was in every territory and other countries. They're distributing them everywhere. So if you don't have Comcast, there's no Kim and Chris. So they can be as smart as they want. It's like if Heidi and Spencer, Viacom was like, okay, The Hills is ending. We want to just keep Heidi and Spencer in the Viacom family for the next 10 years. We would be billionaires right now. So yes, they are genius, hustler, consistency, but at the end of the day, they had a mega freaking pipeline.
How do you get that? How do you think they were able to keep that pipeline going?
I mean, the devil. I don't know.
Well, right? I mean, it's like they're
Hey, I mean, Illuminati. I don't know.
yeah, something. Would you ever you have so many stories, even you don't even get to on TikTok. Like you were saying, you used to be Ryan Gosling's neighbor at one point.
I
Um,
watched Drive last night, actually.
any book in the works, or I guess actually probably shouldn't be giving you any more ideas. You have tons, but I mean, just you telling your Hollywood stories would be interesting.
The show that I'm very close to, it's the series I'm about to sell, I think is going to be like, whoa, this is the most no-brainer show. What a genius that he just sold this. So I,
Oh,
yeah, I think like anybody that does know about this are like, wow. So I think I may have like the one right now.
okay. Okay. Well, this sounds very exciting for you, Spencer Pratt. I am honored that you came on the show.
Oh,
I'm
my
huge.
pleasure. Thank you for your consistency in reaching out.
No, you guys are busy. And I love your boys. I have a son that looks very much like them. Like you guys have these uber blonde children, and I have this like super blonde, haired little boy who's like blue eyes. It reminds me of your boys. And you guys seem like you have so much fun.
How old is your son?
He's almost 3.5.
Oh, you're in the game, man. That's no joke
Uh,
either.
yeah, yeah. You guys know how it goes.
I shout out to parents. I say it every day. It's wild.
Well, how can we make you more money? PrattDaddy.com is the
Oh,
website.
yeah, that's if you want a nice, beautiful stone, prattdaddy.com. Stream Heidi's music. That right now is just add it to your playlist. Just throw it, even if you don't even listen to it, just add it to a playlist.
Unbelievable. And then you're currently casting. I guess if anyone's listening to
Oh
this,
no, it's not for regular people.
okay,
Yeah,
do not.
no civilians, no civilians.
This is agent booked only. Thank
No,
you.
no, I mean the cast is famous people.
Oh, the cast is so
Yeah.
okay. So Franco will be in it. You're going to be in it. Anybody else you can leak? Lena Dunham.
Just famous people.
Famous people. Okay, excellent, excellent. Spencer Pratt, wishing you nothing but more success. Hopefully, you will come back as the Hulu show.
I'm always available for Zoom. I'm sorry I couldn't be in physically.
You look, I anytime on Zoom. I didn't even get to ask you. Like, I'm sure you have great Lindsay Lohan stories, and you know, I mean, there's so many
next
things.
month. Next month. Yeah, I'm available.
Awesome,
Anytime.
Spencer. Enjoy the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.